All right. Hey, welcome back. So we're continuing the series Podcasting 101, and this is a little bit deeper dive into step 1 from the 6 simple steps to get you started. This particular session is Podcasting 101 from ideation to roadmap. So the table of contents and the things that we're going to unpack here are ideation, research and development, refinement and branding, proof of concept, market test, and then arriving at a roadmap. So let's talk about ideation. I know I have no trouble when it comes to coming up with ideas for all kinds of different things. The trouble that I have is saying no to good ideas and only yes to great ideas. I get a lot of questions around this area of how do I even come up with an idea? Or I have kind of an idea, but it's not really fleshed out. So let's dive in. Ideation. Generating ideas for a podcast can be a daunting task. Brainstorming with a group of people can help to come up with original and creative ideas. This can be done through a group think tank where people come together and share the ideas and collaborate, or perhaps getting away from your normal routine and finding a solitary place that works better for you to get the creativity flowing. In this step, it's important to consider the avatar, your profile, the target audience, the topic or message, and the format. This will help to ensure that the podcast is engaging and will attract listeners. Additionally, it will inform crucial decisions later on down the road. This is just a couple of ideas or suggestions on how to generate ideas. You're likely already passionate about certain things. Like if you've sat in my studio, if you've seen pictures of it, there's quite a bit of Marvel. I mean, I've got a Tony Stark heart here. I've got Pikachu. I've got a lot of pop culture, comic, Star Wars, all kinds of stuff going on up in here. I've got lights, acoustic treatment for the sound, but it's a creative space that I can come and I can sit in, and it just, the energy for me feeds my creativity. So as a suggestion, what works for you in that space, or perhaps you haven't found something that works for you, then that's where coming together with a couple of other people, whether it's in person or virtual, part of a think tank or a focus group, if you will, might be beneficial, where you can get seedlings of ideas from others and then develop that further. But likely you're passionate about something, which is why you're even taking this course in the first place. Research and development. So once you have your idea, it's important to develop it further. And this can be done through research, through market testing, through refining the idea. Researching the topic and the target audience will help create a podcast that's engaging and relevant. And research could be a number of different things. It could be Googling your topic or idea and seeing what shows up. Going on other podcast platforms like Anchor.fm or Spotify or iTunes and doing a search for something similar there. Determining what your intention is and what your goals are for the podcast is another critical component. In addition to setting your goals and intention, deciding what level of commitment that you can consistently show up for is also important. So how you sound and how you communicate is an obvious element that probably will have the biggest impact on your show. Not feeling confident in this part? Don't worry, like anything else, This skill can be developed and improved over time with consistency. If you're worried about how you sound, if you're worried about how you're showing up, yes, it is a form of public speaking. However, if you're not doing a video podcast, something like this, it might be a little easier because the visual element is not there. But there's a lot of great tools and coaches out there that will help serve you in this space. And I'll leave a link down in the description below for Vin, who's an amazing public speaker coach and has some great exercises that you can do to help improve that component of your communication. Moving on to refinement and branding. Once the idea has been developed, it's important to refine it further. This can be done by creating a script, making sure the content is engaging and relevant, and creating a structure for the podcast. Practice it a few times. Get comfortable with the recording. Keep in mind the length of the podcast and the format in which it will be presented as you make adjustments based on the initial round of feedback. Additionally, you'll want to consider creating a unique logo and brand for the podcast. This is all part of the ideation phase. This will help you set it apart from other podcasts and create a recognizable identity, and this can be done through the use of colors and fonts, taglines, music, and other design elements that go into creating your show. I particularly enjoy that process. I enjoy coming up with different logos and artwork. My undergrad was in graphic design, and I really gravitated towards the artistic, creative side of things. So that part, for me, I really enjoy that part, and I have skill set and a lot of software and things of that nature. There's a lot of great tools out there, if that's not your thing, that can help you develop those things pretty easily, as well as other resources that are very inexpensive that you can outsource those things, and you just provide feedback on what you like and don't like. Moving on. Proof of concept. Once a podcast has been developed and refined, it's time to start producing the podcast. And this can be done by recording the audio, editing the audio, and creating a video version of the podcast. Now, that's optional. You don't have to sit in front of a camera and do the video thing. You can just do the audio if that's more your speed. If you happen to be technically challenged, there are numerous solutions to support you in getting these things done. Either a done-for-you solution where you outsource the entire process, a done-with-you solution where you're participating in the process and learning as you do it, but it's done alongside a professional, somebody that's done it before. Or by you, which is a DIY solution, getting direction from other online sources and videos such as this. Be aware that there are different price points on each of these approaches. By producing a sample or pilot episode, if you will gain experience in the production process. You will have a better idea of what the opportunity cost is, what the resources are, the time involvement is. In addition, you will have something tangible to share for further feedback during the market test phase. So basically, it's a trial run. It's a practice run. You're creating a trailer or a pilot for your show, and you're actually going through the procedures of what recording and producing an episode would look like. Market testing. Once the pilot or the sample episode has been produced, now it's time to test it. This can be done remotely through social media or email campaigns or virtual or in-person focus groups. Gathering input from trusted advisors will provide valuable feedback to make adjustments that will ensure that you connect successfully with your target audience. Many people will skip or ignore this step and miss out on critical information that could inform the specifics and make or break the overall success of the show. A lot of people skip this step. Why? Because it's a little bit involved. It's the first step of really putting yourself out there. It's, I've got to gather some people together to listen to this thing. It's the same idea as sending a manuscript of a book before it's written to people that you trust and respect to give you honest feedback. Same idea. Now to the roadmap. Now, knowing what you have learned up to this point, understanding what your topic is, who your target audience is, how you will approach the production and the branding, you are ready to create a schedule for production, publishing, and marketing. Remember that your level of consistency and commitment is the secret ingredient. Without them, you are just spinning your wheels. With consistency and commitment, your success is inevitable. It's only a matter of time. It's also important to consider the feedback from the listeners and respond to it. Yes, even negative feedback can have value, and you'll be able to sift through the difference between someone who's just trolling and trying to be bitter and tear it down versus some constructive feedback that may not necessarily be positive but useful. This will help create a positive relationship with your audience, making them feel valued and important, and ensure the podcast success. Now, everyone wants to feel valued and important, and if you can master making your listeners and your audience in a one-on-one situation where they feel like you're talking directly to them and you make them feel valued and important, whatever you do, you'll be successful. Because people don't care what you know until they know that you care. I know it's cliche, but it's true. So there you have it. There's a little bit of deeper dive on Podcasting 101 in coming up with the idea from ideation to roadmap. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that this video was valuable. If it was, please hit the subscribe and like button, and we'll see you in the next video.